Hello, everyone. I hope everyone is doing fine, and I hope you're all having good dreams too, or nightmares. Maybe you enjoy having nightmares. I knew somebody in high school that said he said he enjoyed having nightmares, and maybe he was lying, and he was weird, anyways. But in this dream, there were goth people, a roller coaster, a beach, and El Chapo. That's right. And in case you don't know who I'm talking about El Chapo, which is the Mexican drug lord that was captured sometime early 2016. He had escaped from prison and was found hiding in a hotel room with his family. But apparently he was actually hiding in the recesses of my unconscious. Who would have thought? I wonder who else might be lurking there. Maybe we'll find Jimmy Hoffa there too. And if you happen to hear a sound in the background, that's my cat eating food. So yeah, El Chapo, I think he was in my dream because I was watching the Spanish news channel and his image wormed its way into my mind. But, let's just get to it. Let's begin this narration, shall we? I remember being beyond devastated. The reason being, my sister had just died. She was in the late stages of pregnancy too, so double the loss. The clouds above me were a light gray color, and they were spread across the sky looking like dusty old spider webs. I was standing outside in my parking lot, just standing there, expressionless and feeling indifferent. I was a concrete statue gazing at the face of my house. There was something peculiar going on. I was transfixed by the shape of my house. Square. It registered in my mind that the house was quadrilateral, but this shape had no meaning. It was simply a meaningless shape. My mind floated away from my body that was just standing there and traveled into my sister's former bedroom. It had the wooden paneled walls with the punched holes in them, the cobweb ceiling corners, those old hip-hop stickers near the doors, and everything was how it was as I remember it when it was still there. Her death ran through my mind like a quick-moving river. I felt an insubstantial sadness, a superficial kind of grief. I was only there briefly before my presence transitioned back outside to where my body still stood, standing, staring at the house. My sister's husband, Tom, and the kids showed up. My mind made weak attempts to ask him how he felt about the death of my sister, but my mouth stayed shut. We started walking and turned the corner on X Street towards West Y Street, which is a liquor store. Suddenly, my mind got hit by a wave of shock, and something told me that my mother had died as well. My brain waves around this time were changing, so I wasn't in REM sleep anymore. I woke up to my cat walking around my belly. I checked the clock and it was 3:36 a.m. And I plunge into my second round of slumber and descend into dreamland again. Now, there is a large wooden roller coaster in the middle of a grassy and sunny nowhere. It was like in those build-your-own-city computer games where the landscape goes on forever and ever. I found myself standing in the middle of a long line of people waiting to get on this roller coaster. The next thing I knew, I was sitting in the coaster vehicle. I was seated in the last coaster car, all the way in the back. I was feeling dread and anxiety and thinking about how everything in my life was going in the wrong direction. It was an extremely unpleasant feeling. So there I sat, life in shambles, with my hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the vehicle, patiently waiting for the ride to begin. I glanced around the platform and noticed a large population of African Americans. My friend John's presence was there momentarily and then vanished. The floor behind me creaks and groans under a great weight. I look behind me, and I see a lumbering, morbidly obese black woman holding the hand of a toddler. They were walking in my direction and looked like they were going to board the coaster. My panic engine begins to rev. I remember reading the tragic story about the large woman who died falling out of the Texas Giant roller coaster. The bar on her coaster vehicle didn't lock because of the size of her body. She said it only clicked twice, not 3 times like it was supposed to. The overweight black woman sat next to me. The person operating the roller coaster was idly chatting with a patron in line and did not seem focused or paying attention to what she was supposed to be doing. I jiggled the safety bar and it felt loose. I yelled that I wanted to get off. I was now in full-blown panic mode. Hysterics, sweating, hyperventilation, and all that good stuff. I didn't want to die the same way that poor woman did. Death by roller coaster. I didn't want to die because of another's incompetence. I noticed there's another morbidly obese person on the ride, sitting at the front end of the roller coaster. The ride violently jerked and began to creep forward. I held on to that safety bar for dear life, with every fiber of my mortal strength. The ride began gaining speed. I felt doomed. I knew I was heading towards certain death. Nothing I could do now, so I accept my fate. I can feel that my face was expressionless. Everyone else on the ride screamed and hollered with joy and thrill. I could feel my body lift during the loop-de-loops. My innards felt like they were going to jump out of my mouth. You know, that feeling you get on the roller coaster when it drops. I refused to surrender to gravity. There was an instant relief of the terror, but I don't recall the ride coming to a stop. Someone turned off the lights. I think I died. My feet were on the ground and firmly planted they were. I was goth. Male or female, I'm not sure which gender I was, and I didn't care what I was. My sex and gender changed depending on who was around me and what mood I was in. I strode away from the roller coaster. I was feeling a mix of apathy and angst. I felt like things just didn't matter anymore. One moment I was a visually stunning goth girl, and the next I was a handsome goth guy. My goth animus wore big black leather boots with silver buckles. He had long black hair with a strip of blonde at the front. Long layers of black clothing with assorted textures such as satin, velvet, wool, and cashmere. My animus walked forth with wide, confident strides. Where was he going? I don't know. Just away. About 200 feet away from the roller coaster, there was a fairly large crowd of goth people. Not all clumped together, but evenly dispersed into little groups. There were about 80 or 100 people that I saw in my immediate range of vision. I know there were more, but I didn't care to look. As my animus strode, he knew others were looking at him, some with concern, and others snickered. I ignored them as I passed. I didn't care that they ogled me, but I couldn't help it that I liked them noticed me ignore them. Arrogance. My feelings began to take a downward shift. I started feeling helpless. I transfigured into a goth girl. I immediately hooked the attention of the men now. The eyes of those goth men feasted on my delicate beauty. I floated by them like a somber ghost. There was a willowy, sorrowful expression on my face. I looked like a woman out of an Edgar Allan Poe story or a Tim Burton movie. My skin was a milky pale white color with a pearlescent sheen to it. My hair was pinned straight and as black and lustrous as an onyx jewel. My thin, waif-like body was delicately draped with a long, elegant, billowy black dress, and it billowed at my feet like smoke. I was enjoying the solicitous energy I was receiving from the crowd, but shied away. I morphed into my animus again, and I felt a rejuvenated strength. I continued to walk tall. I was like a large lizard, wicked and confident. I paid little attention to the girls that followed me and tried to keep up with my pace. Fangirls. There were 4 or 5 of them that were simply enamored with my tall, mysterious figure. But as I conceitedly marched on, the girls that couldn't keep up or stopped trying were left far behind. I started going blind now. My vision was fading, but my legs wouldn't stop walking. I felt a cool breeze on my face. My vision returned, and I found myself in a large, maze-like concrete parking structure. It wasn't indoor, so I could see the blue horizon of the ocean far away. It was some kind of day-night in-between. There was no definitive time of day. I walked around until I found a stairwell opening. I descended, and I was making my way down. I can hear the echoes of footsteps behind me. I was surprised to see that one of my admirers had followed me all the way here. She was ecstatic to have finally caught my attention. I said nothing to her. Like some strange illusionary mechanics from the M.C. Escher's relativity, or as some might call it, impossible stairs, I descended down the stairwell and somehow found myself ending up on the surface of the building outside. I looked down and I realized I was me again. Me, my old self, just a girl. The fangirl tapped me on the shoulder, and she wasn't just a fangirl anymore. It was my childhood friend. We just stood there in silence until a police officer showed up on a bicycle. He said he was looking for a man and that I should be on the lookout for him. I told my friend, "Let's go. Things are getting weird around here." I asked my friend if she wants to go watch a movie, and she agreed. As we descended down the stairs again, we see El Chapo dwelling in a dark corner. My friend and I simply looked at each other and said nothing. We continue on without a word. We enter a tunnel and exited into a mall. Now this mall had many stories, maybe 60 floors inside. The floors were wide and broad, but the ceilings were low. There were upside-down escalators, candy-stripped walls you can taste, like in the Willy Wonka's chocolate factory, snozberries. Ribbons of various textures and colors hung from the ceiling, colorfully spotted columns, elevators that traveled sideways. Everything was pink, purple, blue, orange, green, and so on. All colors of the rainbow. What I liked best were the spiral slides that instead of sliding down, you would slide up. and the curly spinning poles that would drop you off on any floor in the mall. You would grab hold of it, then let go of it on the floor you wished to get off on. We giggled and gallivanted, taking advantage and exploring the fun ways you can ride around the mall with these crazy mechanics. The cinema was within our reach, but we were having too much fun. We'd watch the movie later. This dream ended on a happy note. Well, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. That was my dream. My second dream narration. What do you guys think? What do you think this dream meant? Feel free to analyze it if you wish. It's one of the reasons why I started uploading my dream stories here. I feel a kind of exposure here, like I'm showing you folks the interiors of my mind. What if you guys care to listen? I appreciate whatever thoughts you guys might have. And if not, then that's fine too. As long as you guys enjoy listening. And I know I don't have many listeners. I have about 130 subscribers. And that's okay. This is for you guys. Maybe one or two people will listen all the way through. Well, it's currently an overcast afternoon on this rainy day, recording my voice in the comfort of my little room. I think I'm about to go and finally eat breakfast, go out for a nice run, a meditative run. Well, thank you, whoever you are, for listening all the way through. If you still are, thank you, and have a wonderful rest of the day and sweet dreams.